Good evening. You're watching WION. I'm Palki Sharma Upadhyay. The top headlines of this hour. U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson says Russian meddling in American presidential elections created serious mistrust. Says Washington will respond to Moscow's expulsion of diplomats. Washington also slams North Korea, says it must end missile and nuclear tests for talks to begin. Pyongyang hits back, vowing thousand-fold revenge. Damascus slams the United States over the use of chemical weapons and airstrikes on residential areas and hospitals in Syria. National Conference leaders Omar and Farooq Abdullah hold a meeting of opposition parties. This is after reports emerge of the centre reviewing Article 35A that defines the residents of Jammu and Kashmir. And terror mastermind Hafiz Saeed will launch a political outfit in Pakistan. The official announcement is expected any minute now. That is the big story we're tracking right now on WION. Mumbai mastermind Hafiz Saeed, Mumbai attack mastermind, will rename the Jamaat-ud-Dawa. He will call it a political party henceforth. Reports suggest that Saeed has decided to rename his terror outfit as the Milli Muslim League. Describing Saeed's political foray as a matter of concern, the government of India has said that a man who is known to trade in bullets is now seeking to hide behind the ballot. Joining us from New Delhi is Vivek Karju. He's a former Indian ambassador. He's somebody who understands India-Pakistan relations and how things have shaped over the past few years. Mr. Karju, how do you see this latest move by Hafiz Saeed, this attempt by the Pakistani military to give him legitimacy by calling his party a political outfit now?
Well, obviously, it is not a political outfit. It is a terrorist organization, and the Pakistani army, if it succeeds in persuading the Election Commission of Pakistan to register a party which is nothing but an avatar of the Lashkar-e-Toiba or the Jamaat-ud-Dawa, would be exposing itself once again to what it is, and a better and instigator of terrorism in the region. And the international community would, I am confident, to take full note of this development.
Well, the international community, I'm sure, has been watching over the past few days. This is not something that has come out today. We've been reporting here on WION that he intends to do something like this. While he is supposedly under house arrest, his son and the other members of his team have been spewing anti-India propaganda. He runs a parallel government in North Pakistan, even collecting agricultural tax. All of this has gone on. So one is assuming that this next step will also go ahead and he will not be challenged.
I'm not so sure at this moment because, for one, the Americans have still not decided their policy towards Afghanistan and Pakistan. And at least as long as that policy is not put fully in place, despite the support the Pakistani and the Pakistani army in particular is getting from China and the PLA, I don't think the Pakistanis will be so adventurous as to register a party which will clearly be perceived all over the world as, and as I said, as another manifestation of the Jamaat-ud-Dawa. But should they decide to do so, it will be another nail in the coffin of their reputation. Not that they are particularly concerned about their reputation, but at this moment, I think they will hold their hand, at least for the next 2 weeks.
Why do you think Hafiz Saeed feels the need to form a political party? He has the support of the ISI and the Pakistani military. Why is he looking for legitimacy? Is there another grander plan in place?
I think you are right. He is looking for respectability. He already has legitimacy. Let's not overlook the fact that there are vast sections within Pakistan who believe that Hafiz Saeed is involved in charity. Let us not forget that a person like General Musharraf, who after all was president of Pakistan, has called him a hero of Pakistan. So given these facts, there is a certain support for Hafiz Saeed, but now a political role, even if he has to play that from behind the scenes, will add, he thinks, a certain respectability, though the fact is that at the hustings, the religious parties have never done particularly well. But there is a certain attraction to having representation in parliament and a certain respectability, and I think that is what Hafiz Saeed is perhaps looking at, and more than Hafiz Saeed, his patrons are looking at.
Right, we'll wait for the announcement then. Vivek Karju, many thanks for the moment. We'll reconnect with you, sir, once we see what happens, what is said at the press conference, which is expected to be held any minute now. Meanwhile, the Islamabad High Court has announced that the petition seeking former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif's family be placed on the exit control list is unmaintainable. Two officials of the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf have filed a petition before the Islamabad High Court asking that Sharif, his three children, his son-in-law and the former finance minister Ishaq Dar be placed on the no-fly list. This petition had stated that Sharif and his family may flee the country to avoid trial and the process of law. The court disposed of the petition earlier today. Meanwhile, the newly appointed Foreign Minister of Pakistan has said that India was not responding positively to improved ties despite various overtures from Islamabad, and alleged that New Delhi was conspiring with Washington to sabotage the Indus Water Treaty. In its first press conference since being appointed Foreign Minister, Asif also reportedly said that Pakistan's desire for peace and good relations with neighbours should not be construed as its weakness. He said that peace between India and Pakistan can only be achieved through the resolution of the Kashmir dispute, and I'm quoting, "We know how to secure our borders. However, lasting peace can only be attained through solving the Kashmir issue."
हो सकता है 57 साल के बाद इस जो हिंदुस्तान का एटीट्यूड है या जो दूसरे ममालिक हैं, खुसूसन अमेरिका जो है वो इन्फ्लुएंस कर रहा है इस ट्रीटी की इम्प्लीमेंटेशन के ऊपर हिंदुस्तान की तरफ से।
Rex Tillerson that America is ready to open dialogue with North Korea if it is ready to stop missile tests. Tillerson made the statement during a meeting with leaders of the ASEAN summit in Manila. Last month, North Korea conducted 2 intercontinental ballistic missile tests, leading to tensions in the peninsula.
We're not going to give someone a specific number of days or weeks. This is really about the spirit of these talks, and they can demonstrate they're ready to sit with a spirit of finding a way forward in these talks by no longer conducting these missile tests. So this is not give me 30 days and we're ready to talk. It's not quite that simple. In terms of these most recent round of sanctions, I think your point is well taken that when do these actually have a practical bite on their revenues? I think perhaps the more important element of that is just the message that this sends to North Korea of how unacceptable the entire international community finds what they're doing.
Let's focus on U.S.-Russia relations now. Rex Tillerson, U.S. Secretary of State, said that Moscow's meddling in their presidential election had created serious mistrust between the two countries.
Russian meddling in the elections was certainly a serious incident. We talked about it in the discussion we had with Minister Lavrov yesterday, and trying to help them understand just how serious this incident had been and how seriously it had damaged the relationship between the U.S., the American people, and the Russian people, that this had created serious mistrust.
Tillerson also warned Russia over its decision to order a cut in the size of the UN mission in Moscow. Earlier, Tillerson and Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov met on the sidelines of the ASEAN summit in Manila. The meeting was the first since US President Donald Trump signed the sanctions that Russia said amounted to a full-scale trade war and ended hopes for better ties. The Russian foreign minister said that he believed his American colleagues were ready to continue dialogue with Moscow on complex issues despite bilateral tensions. Lavrov described his talks with Tillerson as lengthy and said that they covered a wide range of topics from the nuclear issue to the Korean Peninsula to coordination plans between Russia and the US to withstand attacks.
Foreign Minister that we had not made a decision regarding how we will respond to Russia's request to remove U.S. diplomatic personnel. I asked several clarifying questions just to ensure I understood kind of their thinking behind that diplomatic note we received, but told him we would respond by September the 1st. I think, again, these are two very large countries, and we should find the places that we can work together. Let's try to work together. The places we have our differences, we're going to have to continue to find a way to address those.
Мы заинтересованы в поддержании диалога с АСЕАН по международной проблематике. Предлагаем сконцентрироваться на тех областях, где мы можем координировать наши подходы по наиболее актуальным вопросам глобальной и региональной повестки дня, включая строительство в Азиатско-Тихоокеанском регионе архитектуры безопасности и сотрудничества, наращивание совместной работы по противодействию многочисленным вызовам и угрозам.
Syria has accused the US-led coalition forces of using banned phosphorus bombs and launching airstrikes on residential areas and hospitals. The Syrian Foreign Ministry sent letters to the UN Secretary-General and the UN Security Council condemning the coalition strikes using banned weaponry on civilian infrastructure without the country's government's consent. Damascus said that it is a blatant violation of international law under UN resolutions. The news of banned phosphorus bombs striking civilian hospitals in Raqqa came to the notice after the Syrian state news agency Sana reported on the matter, citing the deputy head of the local branch of the Red Crescent. The Syrian Foreign Ministry said in a statement, and I'm quoting again, the systematic bombing of residential areas, houses of civilians, the destruction of the Raqqa State Hospital, and the use of banned white phosphorus by the aircraft of the international coalition are a blatant violation of international law. Moreover, the Syrian Foreign Ministry has urged the UN Security Council to fulfill its responsibilities to preserve peace and security. Damascus has also called on all countries to comply with Security Council resolutions on combating terror. According to the Syrian state media, in less than a week, more than 50 civilians were killed in the coalition's bombing. This is not the first time the US-led coalition used banned phosphorus bombs in airstrikes in Raqqa. In June, the coalition used banned white phosphorus to screen and mark targets in Raqqa during the operation to liberate the Syrian city from Islamic State. Israel's communications minister Ayub Kara has said that his government wants to shut down pan-Arab broadcaster Al Jazeera in the country. After Jordan and Saudi Arabia, Israel becomes the third country to control local Al Jazeera offices. The channel and its affiliate sites have already been blocked in Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Egypt and Bahrain as well. Al Jazeera on its website reported that it was blocked from attending the news conference where Kara made the announcement. The Israeli Prime Minister had vowed in late July to quote-unquote expel Al Jazeera for its reporting of the issue, which he said incited violence in Jerusalem.
אני הולך לבקש מלשכת העיתונות הממשלתית דרישה לשלול את תעודת העיתונאים מכתבי רשת אל-ג'זירה הפועלים בישראל. 2. פניתי לחברות הכבלים והלוויין אשר הביעו נכונות מצידן לשקול את החשכת שידורי אל-ג'זירה בכבלים ובלוויין. פניתי גם לשר לביטחון פנים בבקשה להפעיל את סמכויותיו לסגירת משרדי הרשת בארץ.
Controversial documentary Diana, in her own words, has met with mixed responses after being broadcast in the UK. The documentary showed never-seen-before footage of the late princess. The media's decision to include the videotapes in the documentary has been strongly criticised by royal watchers, with one of them being Diana's close friend, who said the documentary is a betrayal of her privacy. This film features Diana speaking about her upbringing, her courtship with the Prince of Wales, public life and troubles in her marriage. The 90-minute documentary revealed Princess Diana saying that Prince Charles was very odd during his courtship. In one of the tapes, Diana recalled a conversation she had with the Queen about how to fix her marriage. The documentary also reveals her alleged relationship with her bodyguard, Barry Manicky, who was killed in a motorbike accident 3 weeks after being forced to leave the palace.
Eventually he had to go. 3 weeks after he left, he was killed in a motorbike accident. And he was the greatest friend I've ever had.
People on social media appeared split, some criticising Diana's voice coach for making the tapes available, whereas some others spellbound by a charming woman who appeared to be a victim looking for empathy. Reports suggest that parts of the tapes had been broadcast in the US more than a decade ago, but this was the first time they were aired in Britain. So what led to Princess Diana's death on the 31st of August in 1997? Princess Diana was killed in a car crash in a Paris tunnel along with her then boyfriend Dodi Fayed and their driver. It was a day of mourning in Britain. Flags flew at half-mast. People flocked to the Buckingham Palace and the Kensington Palace to pay their respects. The then Prime Minister of Britain, Tony Blair, mourned her death and said that Britain is in a deep state of shock.
The people everywhere, not just here in Britain, everywhere, they kept faith with Princess Diana. They liked her, they loved her. They regarded her as one of the people. She was the people's princess. And that's how she will stay, how she will remain in our hearts and in our memories forever.
Diana's final month had been overshadowed by media speculation about her relationship with Dodi Fayed. Her brother felt that media was responsible for her death.
This is not a time for recriminations, but for sadness. However, I would say that I always believed the press would kill her in the end. But not even I could imagine that they would take such a direct hand in her death, as seems to be the case. It would appear that every proprietor and editor of every publication that has paid for intrusive and exploitative photographs of her, encouraging greedy and ruthless individuals to risk everything in pursuit of Diana's image, has blood on his hands today.
Queen Elizabeth II was not at her residence when Princess Diana died. She returned to London the next day and met mourners and gave a statement.
She was an exceptional and gifted human being. In good times and bad, she never lost her capacity to smile and laugh, nor to inspire others with her warmth and kindness.
Tributes increased as members of the public laid down flowers, gifts, placed candles and wrote messages to the princess. Diana was buried on an island on the estate. Kenya is going to polls tomorrow, and WION is taking you inside the country. Laikipia County is home to diverse wildlife, including Grevy's zebra. But something is brewing here. Both the people and the animals are facing attacks from armed pastoralists for over a year now. More than 50% of Kenya's states are battling severe drought, and these pastoralists are looking for green grass. Some believe these attacks are part of a larger design to scare away the owners and take over the land. Politicians, it is believed, are inciting herders to invade ranches. This is the hope, in the hope that they will get votes tomorrow.
Hata ukikutana na watu wale hawana silaha, ukiongea nao wanasema ni wanasiasa tu ndio wameambia ati kuna vile itafika wapate hii mashamba bure, wapate kulisha ng'ombe yao bure. tilisi ya wazungu iliisha miaka 99.
The security situation, though, has only worsened. The Sosian ranch, spanning over 24,000 acres, is now manned by armed patrols. Its head of security tells us the situation is grim.
Kama hii ni ndovu sasa imeuawa hapa, kama mwezi mmoja imepita, na walienda na pembe, na pia hapo pia chini tena kuna nyati imeuawa hapo tena, na hiyo walikuwa natumia kama kula nyama. Na kila wakati hata magari kipita kwa barabara wanapiga watu, tukiwa patrol kwa mchana mmoja unakuta hata tunaweza kuwa tunakutana nao mara 2 mara 3.
Much will depend on the outcome of polls tomorrow. 3 of 4 elections since 1991 have seen large-scale violence, and the country is holding its breath as Uhuru Kenyatta and opposition leader Raila Odinga are in a neck-to-neck race. That'll be all on this show, but keep your feedback coming in and catch the latest stories on our social media platforms. Thanks very much for watching.